In just a few minutes, 85% of an entire city fell to the ground. Every building, every bridge, every service gone. When the shaking stopped in Tangshan, China, at least 240,000 people were dead, and some historians put the true figure far higher. It happened while almost everyone was asleep. This was the deadliest earthquake in recorded history, and it struck one of China's most important industrial cities without warning. The earthquake hit the region around Tangshan, in Hebei province, at 3:42 in the morning, local time, on the 28th of July, 1976. It registered 7.6 on the moment magnitude scale. Its maximum intensity reached 11, rated extreme, on the Mercalli scale, the near top of what that scale can measure. The destruction was almost total, and it was almost instant. Within minutes, 85% of the buildings in Tangshan either collapsed outright or were left unusable. Every service failed. Most of the highway and railway bridges collapsed or were seriously damaged. A city of heavy industry was flattened before its residents could even wake and reach a door. The reason it was so lethal comes down to timing, depth, and location. The quake struck in the dead of night, when people were in bed inside buildings that had not been designed to survive a shock like this. And it was shallow. The first and largest shock ruptured only about 12 kilometers, roughly 7.5 miles, beneath the southern part of the city. A shallow quake directly under a dense urban center delivers far more violent shaking at the surface than a deep one of the same size. Here is a detail that shows how hard this event was to even measure. The magnitude was initially estimated at 8.1. It was later recalculated to 7.6 on the standard moment magnitude scale. That scale captures the total energy an earthquake releases, but earthquakes differ in how much of that energy becomes destructive ground shaking. The Tangshan quake, being relatively shallow, converted a punishing share of its energy straight into the shaking that leveled the city. The full sequence involved two major shocks, each with a magnitude of at least 7.0. The human numbers are staggering, and they are still disputed. The official count recorded 242,469 deaths. Many historians accept that at least 300,000 people died. Either figure makes Tangshan the deadliest earthquake in recorded history, setting aside the famine deaths that followed the 1556 Shaanxi earthquake, and one of the worst disasters in China's history by death toll. To understand the scale of the loss, it helps to know what Tangshan was. This was no small town. It is a coastal, industrial, prefecture-level city in the northeast of Hebei province, sitting on the northeastern edge of the North China Plain. It lies in the central area of the Bohai Rim and serves as a main traffic corridor to China's northeast. It faces the Bohai Sea to the south and the Yan Mountains to the north, with Qinhuangdao to the east across the Luan River and Jiangyin to the west. A working, connected, populous hub, and the ground beneath it gave way in the middle of the night. The Tangshan disaster reshaped how large earthquakes are understood and reported. The moment magnitude scale used to measure it has since become the standard for seismological authorities like the United States Geological Survey, precisely because it does not saturate, it does not quietly underestimate the size of the very largest quakes the way older scales can. That matters, because the gap between an initial reading of 8.1 and a final figure of 7.6 is the difference between two very different portraits of the same catastrophe. Nearly 50 years on, Tangshan stands as the modern benchmark for how much a single shallow quake, striking a sleeping city, can take in a matter of minutes, and a warning about what unprepared buildings and bad timing can do anywhere the ground is capable of moving. That's it for this one. Watch this next Kyoto animation. What drove a man to burn 36 alive?